every time. Every time you come is where I'm going to hit you. Let's go. You don't want no problems, bro.
Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show, your pre-game build-up to NFL Sunday.
It's about to get ugly. I'm eating burritos bigger than you. You're having one of those days. Hey, baby, you're having one of those days.
Coming at you live from Tees Towers is your host, Mark Tees. Hello and welcome along to the Zone Coverage Football Show, your pre-game build-up to NFL Sundays. We have one more to go. The excitement is building, Twitter's going wild. I'm your host, Mark Tees. I'm going to be your guide for the next 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes in fairness, as we delve into the wonderful world of pigskin. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, of course, we've got to get the formalities out of the way. So first up, if you are in fact listening live, I've got two options here, the TuneIn app or the Spreaker app, and the good thing with the Spreaker app is the chat room. So if you just head on over to Spreaker.com, sign up with your Facebook, Twitter, whatever you've got, and just search Zone Coverage Football Show, join in the chat room and come have some good fun. There's like-minded pigskin lovers in there, so it's all free, people. Just come on over. In the chat room so far, we have Robert and we also have Will. Good afternoon, gents. If you want to join Robert and Will, feel free to do so. Beyond the live broadcast, obviously life's crazy busy, and if you can't enjoy the live form, you can listen back at your leisure, basically. So you can head on over to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, and whilst you're there, don't forget those ratings. They really help the show get noticed. Social media-wise, connect with me via Facebook, Google+, there's an Instagram account that gets updated every once in a blue moon, but the best course of action throughout the course of today will be Twitter at Zone Coverage FS, and all avenues of communication are going to be open, so you can call me on 07444 048 and Skype me at TSmister. Just a heads up in regards to the call charges. If you do have like inclusive minutes, inclusive text, that number again is on one of the big networks. So that's just going to come out of your allowance. It's not going to cost you anything. However, if you are overseas, the best course of action then is Skype. That's TSmister, TEECE Mister. So feel free, drop me a line. Let me know how your week's going. Excitement's building. Lots going on. Today's show-wise, what have we got today? Dennis Moss is on the show. Remember, I think it's back in May we had Dennis on the show. He is visiting all 31 football stadiums during this season. So when we caught up with Dennis, I do believe it was on Friday afternoon. So Dennis couldn't actually come on the show today, so we did a little pre-record. So I'm going to play that. We had like a 10-minute chat with Dennis, so we got that to get up to. Also, we got Tom from Huddle Magazine, expecting Tom to call in today. So Tom's got some exciting news about Huddle Magazine, and he also became a dad in the week, so excellent news there. Baby Huddle, as I've now nicknaming the little one, so congrats to Tom and the family there. Also, the guys over at Dundee NFL, a couple of podcasts they've dropped this week as the excitement is building. I was chatting to Martin the other week, did a little segment for that, so check those out at Dundee NFL on Twitter. Right then, few sort of hot topics for you guys then. As the course of this week's gone through, as a lot of people the 53 cuts were made late last night, so I've got a few surprise cuts and stuff I want to run through. I'll give you the list of those. But Trent Richardson, he got paid $600,000 by the Raiders. He's now been released. Is he done? There's a lot of talk about RG3, what was going to happen with him. It looks like that the Redskins are now going to roll with him as a backup. Crazy idea. I'm going to pitch this one out there. There's a lot of chatter about RG3 fitting in this Chip Kelly system perfectly. Would you trade Sanchez for RG3? Good idea, bad idea? Let me know. At Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. Also, something to do with PSI. It's a really sketchy story. I don't think if many of you have heard about it, but as this quarterback for the Patriots, he was in court, something like that, and he's now not suspended. So if you want to chime in about that, feel free to do so. What else do we have? That is pretty much it. So I think it's best we're going to check in the chat room first of all. Terry's just joined the chat room as well. So good afternoon, Terry. Hope you are well. I'm going to check in on Twitter at Zone Coverage FS. Twitter is quiet so far, but Matt Phillips At Matt Phillips 78, I was talking to him prior to the show kicking off. Cameron as well, at C4MRIN. At Miami Dolphins UK, they hit me up this afternoon as well, so had some nice things to say about the show, so I appreciate that, guys. They're looking to get on fan versus fan as we go forward. And talking of fan versus fan, we've got a few more names down on this list. It's all kicking off next week, fan versus fan wise. So if you want to join in, take part on that, hit me up at Zone Coverage FS, drop me an email, zonecoveragefoootballshow@mail.com. Chat room's getting busy now, so Martin's just joined us. I've already said Robertson there, and so has Matt Phillips, as I was just tweeting out your handle there, Matt. So welcome, everybody. Right, shall we get into this news? Where's my sound effects? My sound effects have all gone. Here we go. NFL news. Right then, first up, we're going way back to last, I think it's Sunday or Monday. The Buccaneers, they traded tight end Tim Wright, who they claimed off waivers in June, to the Detroit Lions in exchange for kicker Kyle Brinzer. You'll remember that Wright was part of a trade that sent Patriots guard Logan Mankins to the Bucs back in 2014. Tim Wright and the Bucs, they've got a love-hate relationship going on there. The Redskins, as I touched on briefly about the RG3 situation, they are now rolling with Kirk Cousins as their starter for Week 1. I have no idea what's going on there. As part of the fifth-year option, RG3, if he gets injured, is guaranteed around about $8 million. So I just think they're sort of keeping that $8 million in their arse pocket, basically, are the Redskins. Jay Gruden and RG3 clearly do not get on. It's an absolute mess over there in Washington. So it's going to be an interesting season for Redskins fans, and they could quite well become the punchline of the NFL throughout 2015. The Jags, they traded longtime kicker Josh Scobie to the Steelers. That was for a 6th round pick. Scobie, he spent 11 seasons with the Jags. He completed around about 80% of his kicks. For the Jags, kicker-wise, Jason Myers, he now steps in. Another little trade was the Denver Broncos. They traded defensive tackle Chris Clark to the Houston Texans in exchange for a 7th round pick in a 2016 draft. Clark signed with the Bucs in 2008 as undrafted free agent, 2 years with the Vikings on their practice squad before being claimed off waivers by the Broncos. He then appeared in about 69 games for the Broncos over the last 5 years. He made 27 starts. Last week I was ranting and raving about the Buffalo Bills quarterback situation. I was saying, what the hell is going on there? Then on Monday, because after Rex had listened to the show, he decided to put me out my misery, and he decided to roll the ball with Tyrod Taylor. The Bills also made a bizarre move, in my eyes, as they cut running back Fred Jackson, who's now signed with the Seahawks on a 1-year deal. So, Buffalo Bills, Tyrod Taylor, I think 3 or 4 weeks, it might be exciting. As soon as the defense figures them out, it's going to be quite possibly a rough season for the Bills. And that O-line is not the best. Defensively, fantastic unit. I can't decide what the Bills are going to be this year. I'm going to need a few weeks to see how that sort of turns out. On then to the Giants. Safety Stevie Brown has returned to the Giants. He was released in free agency, signed with the Texans, who then released him, and now he's back with the Giants. The Giants secondary is an absolute mess at the moment. I'm not really sure what's going on over there in New York, but there's rumours as well that Cam Chancellor and the Giants, there's a sort of trade possible. I've not heard anything since. It is a rumour, so we shall see what happens there. Steelers, they restructured Antonio Brown's contract. Is now they're turning some cash from his 2016 base salary into a 2015 signing bonus. That's going to be prorated over the next 2 years. So Brown will now make $8 million a season. Just going to check in on the chat room before we carry on with the rest of the news. So, some sort of chat about the cuts. Martin mentions Darnell Dockett, Pete Wheeler. Also, who else do we have? Robertson there. Can't say we had any real surprise cuts. That's fair enough. Martin seems to be having an issue with the connection. Going to sign out and see you at the draft. Anyone else got any sort of issues with the connection? Do feel free to let me know. As far as everything on my end, it seems to be okay, but If I can tweak a few knobs here and there, then give me a heads up and let me know if the sound and everything is okay. It seems okay my end. I'm not sure how you're listening on an Android device, if that's the issue or not. Well, keep me informed and I'll see if I can juggle something around my end. Back then to the news. The Cleveland Browns, they decided to part ways with former first-round pick defensive tackle Phil Taylor. Hopefully most of you will remember that Taylor, of course, was one of the top names in that ill-fated draft trade with the Falcons that sent the Falcons moved up to select Julio Jones. The Browns then, well, they picked... Who did they pick up now? They netted a big pile and nothing. Greg Little, fullback, Owen Marcich, is that? Brandon Whedon. They're basically all those players now, all those picks from that trade up with the Falcons, they're not on the roster anymore. So it's an epic fail on part of the Browns. In all fairness, the Falcons, obviously it's risky moving up in the draft. Julio Jones restructured his contract. It's fantastic. So fantastic deal for them. If you're a Browns fan, like the Jets, we're not allowed pretty things. It's just more misery. And for Browns fans and Jets fans, we're hoping that the Redskins become the laughingstock of the NFL, because we've been the punchline for far too long now. Right then, just checking in. Terry's answered the question. Mine's internet. He seems okay now, so glad that the connection is still all good. I appreciate you helping me out there, guys. Back to the news-wise then, we'll move on to the New Orleans Saints. They will be without cornerback Keenan Lewis. He underwent hip surgery on Tuesday and is expected to miss around about 4 to 6 weeks. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this quarterback, people think he might get in at this Hall of Fame, plays for the Patriots, something to do with PSI. Well, it's all over. For now, it's all over for now, because the NFL are appealing this decision. But US District Judge Richard Berman, Thursday morning, he nullified the 4-game suspension. As soon as I saw that, I dropped off. I had to come off, what's it called now, Twitter, because the keyboard warriors, it was like, it was Christmas for them. It was Christmas for them. So if you want to chime in on that, I will entertain you, but I am sick to death about hearing it and all that sort of stuff. So let's move on. Broncos safety TJ Ward, he's been suspended for the first game of the 2015 season. This is for violating the league's personnel conduct policy. So not good news if you are a Broncos fan. Right, that is the end of the news. There's a hell of a lot going on. There's loads of cuts and stuff like that. So I'll be here all day with the cuts and the news. I'm going to go... I had a quick look on the internet before I jumped on the show. So I've got a few bigger names amongst. Most of them are sort of like camp bodies and stuff like that. So a few of the names that I sort of picked out, a quick look around the internet, is Reggie Wayne, who signed with the Pats last week. He's asked the Patriots if they'll release him. The rumours are that he's now considering retirement. Darnell Dockett, we mentioned earlier on, he was given $2 million in the summer by the 49ers. They've decided to part ways with him. Former Giants receiver Hakeem Nicks, he spent last season with the Colts. He was with the Titans this preseason. He's been cut. As I mentioned, the Bills have decided which way they're rolling now. They've cut Matt Castle. I thought they might have just rolled with 3 quarterbacks just in case. You remember Jonas Gray, Mr. Sleepyhead, can't set his alarm. He'd be a good roommate for Ryan Mallett. Imagine how late Ryan Mallett and Jonas Gray would be for work if they rooms. Anyway, Jonas Gray, the ill-fated oversleeper running back for the Patriots, he's been cut, so... yeah, don't oversleep. You get cut by Belichick. James Jones, wide receiver for the Giants, formerly of the Packers, he's been cut as well. I was quite surprised by that, because I thought a veteran presence there for the Giants might have come in handy. I'd heard nothing but good things about James Jones from the Giants camp. Jets-wise, Matt Flynn's gone. So, yeah, we're just rolling with kids, so it's going to be interesting. Jason Babin as well, has also been cut. Chargers-wise, we had Nick Novak. He's been a long time kicking out for the Chargers. He's gone as well. Rookie Josh Limbo, he's taken over there. Derek Sherrod for the Chiefs, he's also gone. Long-time punter for the Giants, Steve Weatherford, he's been cut as well. Cornerback Will Blockman for the Seattle Seahawks, he's also been released. And Josh Freeman has been released by the Dolphins for what must be now 15th time. So no more Josh Freeman. He looks like he could be done and dusted, in fairness. He had a couple of good years in Tampa Bay, but there's a lot of sort of rumours about his sort of work ethic and sort of personality and stuff, and he's been fast-tracked out of the league. So I feel sorry for him in a way, but that's it. Once you sort of get tarnished in the NFL, you don't seem to stick around for very, very long, which is a shame. Oh, what can you do? What can you say? Right then, that is the sort of cuts, the surprise cuts. I wouldn't say they were surprise cuts, but some of the bigger names that I've seen cut-wise so far. No doubt this is going to change as we go through, and over the next few days people are going to be making a few more roster moves ahead of the kickoff on Thursday with the Steelers and the Pats going head to head there. Going to check in then on Twitter before I jump into the interview with oh my god, my mind has gone blank. Who's coming on the show now? Dennis, that's it, Dennis Moss, yes, who's on the Wrong Shaped Bulls tour.com. So check out the website there at AZBOWDEN. He heads off to Boston on Tuesday. So I caught up with Dennis, like I said, it was Friday. So sit back, enjoy the interview with Dennis here. I have to give you a heads up, guys. The sound quality on this interview is not the best. It's going to dip in and out every now and again. It's going to sound like he stood next to an airplane. We tried on the mobile. That kept calling. The call kept getting dropped there. We then went to a landline, which was not the best connection. So in the chat room, guys, if it's a little too quiet, if it's too loud, you can't hear nothing, I'll appreciate the heads up and I will tweak that as we go. Turn about 12-15 minutes. It's a little sketchy at the beginning. It does improve as the call goes on. And again, apologies. I've edited to the best of my ability, and regular listeners to know that my broadcasting/editing ability is not usually the best. We are getting there. 52 episodes in. We're getting there. So just bear with me. Sit back and enjoy this interview with Dennis. I'm going to drop in the chat room, guys, where we shall talk the upcoming Zone Coverage Football Show Fantasy Draft, which goes down at 8 p.m. tonight. So enjoy this, and I will see you all in the chat room. Joining me once again on the Zone Coverage Football Show is Dennis Moss. You will know that Dennis graced the show back in May. He's doing the Wrong Shaped Bulls Tour, and that's the Wrong Shaped Bulls Tour .com website. Dennis is visiting all 31 NFL stadiums this year. Dennis, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Mark. How are you? Nice to be back on the show.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. And the last time we sort of spoke, you were battling with the schedule, but we'll get to that in a moment because I know you've got it all nailed down. And for those listeners that we may have missed in the off-season, just give it like a brief account as to yourself and how this idea came about.
Okay, so I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I have been since Channel 4 started showing me. And I became a fan of Dallas because of the TV show at the time. So it was pretty pathetic TV fan, but I know that I'm not alone in that. I was in Brazil for the World Cup last year. I had a fantastic time going to the stadium, and as I came home to Brazil, I just thought I had such a great time. What would be my next adventure? So I just thought about what my passion are, which was music, I'd like to play guitar, and travel. So I devised this crazy plan, and it starts next Tuesday.
Wow, you start on Tuesday?
I leave for Boston on Tuesday, and it's crazy really, because I've been planning it now for about the last year, and it's been a dream. All through the times of all of the things I've been having to organise, it's just been like a dream. But now it's just turning into reality. So next Tuesday, I depart for Boston to go and see the first game of the Patriots, and then on my travels for 4 months, finish San Francisco on week 17 against the Chiefs.
Wow, nice. I'm sure that I'll be echoing everyone's sort of jealous sentiment here, but you're a very, very lucky man, Dennis. I'd be over the moon to visit one stadium abroad. I've driven past a couple, but it's not the same as actually attending a game.
I'll tell you what, Mark, and to all your listeners who have never been over to watch a game in America, it is absolutely fantastic, and it's very, very different from what you see on the TV, because even myself, I love the NFL, but when you watch it on TV, there are a lot of breaks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of breakdowns, and it doesn't flow as much as everybody would like. But when you're actually at a live game, what's fantastic is as soon as there is a break at an advert, because obviously the telly really does dictate the game. When there is a break on TV and people are watching or making their cups of tea or whatever, in the stadium there's so much going on. There's music blaring out by great bands, all my bands that I like Metallica, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, so on and so forth. There's stuff going on the kicks, there's cheerleaders dancing, there could be people taking penalty kicks or whatever. So there's always something to keep you entertained. And as soon as that finishes, boom, the game restarts. So there's no dull moments, it's just pure entertainment.
Yeah, they do a sort of good job with that for those that have attended the Wembley games. You get like this, there's party crowd come out on big stilts doing somersaults, they're firing T-shirts in the crowd, and like you say, it's a far cry from seeing that advert over and over and over again. Actually, the stadium experience is far more enjoyable, I should say, than those monotonous car adverts.
Certainly. I mean, like I say, there is so much going on, and it is just pure entertainment. I absolutely love it, and it's going to be just such a wonderful experience seeing that in so many different arenas.
Right then, Dennis, we'll talk about the schedule. Obviously, you head off to Boston for the Patriots-Steelers on Thursday for the opening game. How on earth did you get this schedule down? It looks like a logistical nightmare. How long did it take you? And B, is it like the first, second, third revision of this?
There was many changes. It's funny because what I did, I printed out all 17 weeks and I put them on my bedroom wall, and I sat there in silence for long hours. And my mum used to walk past me and open the door and say, "What are you doing?" Because I was just sitting in silence. And I'm trying to explain to her, "Mum, I'm trying to work my way around America. Can you give me a couple of hours?" And it really was difficult. And what I even considered doing to help me out was kind of put something on Twitter or Facebook and say to everyone following me, "Please, can someone help me with this?" Because, Mark, it really was difficult.
Yeah.
There's 31 different teams to go to, Wolf. There's 32 in total. As you know, the New York teams share a stadium. And I thought by just being to that stadium one time was enough. I don't really need to go there twice.
Yeah.
But I was sitting looking at that schedule, and I'd get to something like week 6 in a lovely little route where I could go from, say, like the Patriots down to New York, down to Washington, down to Philadelphia, in a lovely little line.
Yeah.
But what the problem lies is the second half of the schedule, you find yourself, you could be in Oakland, then you could be in Cincinnati, then you could be in Miami, then you could be in somewhere.
Wow.
So I tried as much as I could to keep like a general route in certain parts of the 17th week. And the most difficult part is now the beginning, because one place I always struggled with was Kansas, because it's bang in the middle. But another thing you have to take into consideration is not just to locate teams when they play. What's really difficult for me is I have to do Thursday, Sunday, because if you want to get from one place to the next, you need at least a day to get. So there is one little blitz for me that I'm trying to get to Minnesota, which is on week 4, I believe, and then on the next day, going to Green Bay. Now that is going to be a real challenge because I might not be able to do it. Because of the schedules of the buses, trains, I possibly could get a flight, but that's quite expensive. So that one place of Green Bay would trip me up. However, I've got one spare window to get back to Green Bay, so that's my safe net.
Wow.
So as you can hear, the schedule really, really was a challenge.
Yeah, it sounds madness. And you touched on the mode of transport. Are you mixing it up then? Are you taking like plane journeys, train journeys, bus journeys? Are you hiring a car? Or just a mishmash of whatever you can get your hands on at that time? Are you even hitchhiking?
I'm a seasoned traveller. I will do anything to get anywhere. And because I've done lots of service before, it's not the best of ideas to try and book too much in advance because it never goes to plan.
Yeah.
When you're away for a period of time, all you need to do is you meet the right person who sits next to you at the dinner table or in a bar or anywhere, and the door will fly wide open where somebody might say, "Oh look, we'll put you up for the night," or "Oh gosh, I'm driving there tomorrow," or "I've got a friend who lives in Green Bay, he'd love to put you up." So all of this stuff I'm hoping that I do receive because it would be silly for me to book a ticket for every single game, every single stadium, every train ride, bus ride, etc., because I know full well that after a couple of weeks, I'm probably going to change to a different place, or something will definitely change.
Yeah. Brilliant. So, if the fans that have are now sold on this idea, how can we keep track of your journey, Dennis? What's the best form? How social media wise? Twitter AZ Boden, is that going to be your best sort of route where people can find you?
Possibly, but I've got a new website. It's under the wrongshapedballs.com. A good friend of mine over in Italy did a full new website for me, and he's a bit of a techno man, and he's done a great job. So when I do vlogs and I do videos and pictures, and I post them on that webpage, they automatically go to Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, fantastic.
Somewhere else as well. So there's 3 different ways people can follow me. I'm going to be on Instagram, and I've even discovered this fantastic new thing called Periscope.
Oh, yes.
Which is connected to Twitter. So I will be doing live videos. I could be just talking into the phone in a coffee shop. I could be at the game doing a proper kind of relaying on, say, live, or I could just do like an interview with fans, or I could just talk about what's happening in the game. So it's a really good tool for me to pick up more followers and just have fun along the way.
Yeah, so I'm talking along the way. When you are in Minnesota, one of our listeners, he's an expat, he's living out there in the US. Ashley at PatriotsFan90, I'll send you his details and I'll do the same to him. He has told me, because he listened to me plugging this last week, saying that if you're around about Minnesota, he'd like to meet up with you.
Totally, absolutely, I'd love that very much. And another thing that I have done, you remind me by saying Minnesota, because, again, to keep the costs down, I'm trying to do megabus rides, which is somewhere about $1 in price.
Nice.
So, and also I'm doing a thing called couch surfing, whereas, American football fans will put me up.
Yeah.
And somebody has kindly offered to put me up for a couple of nights in Minnesota and in Kansas. So what I was doing was, again, when I'm there, I've booked in some hostel accommodation in Boston, and once I actually go away, I think the wheel will kind of roll a bit faster. And I will be putting out on Twitter and Facebook. If anybody can help me, can they put me up? Can they help me take me to the game, or help me get a ticket? So I'm quite confident that once I'm away and I start liaising with people, I think people are going to help me.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like you say, anything that we can do to help you, Dennis, you send your info to me. I'm happy to retweet it out. Obviously, different time zones and stuff, and we'll hopefully pick up the momentum and get you to complete this, what is an epic journey.
Oh, thanks so much for your help. And seriously, if I can do anything for yourself while I'm away, we can talk via Skype, and I'll be sending you messages all the time, and I will be listening on your show. With the time difference, it'll be a fairly good time for me to listen to you guys. And if I can send back reports to you whenever you want me to, I'm more than happy to do.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of things set up, Dennis. You could have it leave the show a voicemail, or we can even maybe if we know that you're at a game and you're tailgating, I'm more than happy to phone you live on the air and just get a quick couple of minutes with you, see how you're doing, make sure that you're still okay and that you're in a sane frame of mind after all this travelling.
You'd be more than welcome to do that, mate. And what I'll do, one of the first things I will do is when I get to the States, is I'll get myself an American phone, an American SIM card. And this way it will be a lot easier for me to keep in touch with a lot of people in America.
Yeah.
Other than me keeping my same number, it'll be costing me a lot of money, let's say.
Yeah, if you send me that number, I can Skype you. It doesn't cost a great deal, Skype to a US mobile number, so I'd be happy to ring you to save some expense for you.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. I'll come on whenever you want me to.
Excellent. Now, Dennis, all that's left to say sort of really is, that I'm absolutely envious and jealous of this fantastic journey. B, I wish you nothing but a safe and fun and fantastic adventure, and I look forward to chatting with you. Just keep me updated, keep them sure the listeners as well. If you want to connect with Dennis, wrongshapedballs.com is the website. At AzBoden on Twitter. That's AZBOWDEN on Twitter. We'll retweet this out. Show Dennis some love and support. If you can help him out, put him up for a night, take him to the game, anything like that, or just words of encouragement, please feel free to do so. Dennis, an absolute pleasure to have you on board again, sir.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on. And good luck to all the listeners' teams for the season, as long as they don't beat my Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, brilliant. Appreciate your time, Dennis. Thank you.
Thanks again, Mark. All the best.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
And there we go, folks. And a massive apologies for the sound there. Like I say, it does drop in and out of the conversation there. So, a dodgy line. The scary thing is, when he's in the States, we'll probably have a better connection than we did when he's 100 miles down the road. So, hopefully, you caught the majority of that. If the sound was a bit iffy, I do apologise. Once again, just going to check in on the chat room. There's a lot of talk about the draft for the Zone Coverage Football Show's Fantasy League tonight. Most people are winging it from what I can gather, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm going to sort of put the results up on there, and I'm doing a a survivor pool. So if you've got an account with Yahoo and you want to play it on the survivor pool, search for the Zone Coverage FS. The password is ZCFS. So if you want to join in the survivor pool, then anyone is welcome. There's no limit on that. So I know a few people have been messaging me saying, if you've got any room left, I want to join in the fantasy. That is full, but if you want to take part in the survivor pool, you can do. I'm giving everyone like 2 opportunities. So if you pick a team once and you lose, you're going to get a second life. But once that's gone, you are done and dusted. So that is via yahoo.com. The group name is Zone Coverage FS. The password is ZCFS. I'll be retweeting that out via Twitter and the Facebook page. So if you want to jump on board and do that, so feel free to do so. So I'm just expecting a call from Tom from Huddle Magazine. He's just dropped me a message. So any moment now, Tom's going to check in. After we've spoken to Tom, we're going to bring back the good old Love Line feature ahead of the kickoff on Thursday. So we're going to check in a couple of guys from the Love Line there. So if you are new to this feature, Love Line is a bit of an eye-opener. It's not what you think, so stick around and we'll keep that going. Beyond that, there's not really a great deal to talk about. We'll get Tom on the line in a moment, and the phone lines are going to be open once Tom's done. So the number 07444 048 266. Once we've spoken to Tom, feel free to ring in. Anything, sort of issues, what's sort of grabbed your attention over the course of the past 7 days in the wonderful world of pigskin? We mentioned Trent Richardson at the top of the show. RG3, is he done now? It's all been pretty quiet on the Deflategate sort of thing. So here's Tom now from Huddle. So bear with me, folks. Good afternoon, Tom.
Hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hello.
Are you there, Tom?
Hello.
We seem to be having a night. Are you there, Tom? No, he's gone. Tom is gone. We have no idea what happened to Tom there. So try that again, buddy. Again, the joys of technology, eh? The joys of technology. We will try this yet again. Hello, Tom. No.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. I can hear
Hello.
you, but you can't hear me. Hello, Tom.
Oh dear.
Are you there?
I can't hear you.
Nothing. We have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Are you down there? Tom's gone. Oh my God. Oh, this is a disaster. What an absolute disaster. Let's try you on this line, Tom. Let's try you on this one. Gives a ring back, Tom, if you can, sir. Skype is being a pain in the rear end. We always seem to have an issue with either Skype, and if Skype doesn't work, the phone doesn't work, and vice versa. So let's see if we can figure this out. He's now on the phone line, so hopefully this will be Tom. Hopefully. Hello, Tom.
Hi, mate. How are you?
I'm good. We finally got there in the end.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Skype, mate, but I got through, connected, and then I couldn't hear a word you were saying or anything at all. So.
Yeah, I could hear you. So that was good. I don't know what's going on. It's me and you know how it is. Zone Coverage Football Show and technology. We do not go hand in hand.
Well, As I say, it's all good now. I can hear you now. You can hear me. So also, just a bit of good old-fashioned ringing from a mobile phone.
Yeah, we'll stick to old school. Technology does not agree with us, and it feeds the chat room because I'm getting a lot of grief now in the chat room. People asking for Benny Hill music and all sorts. So
brilliant. Gotta love it.
Before we get into this, buddy, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very happy send for those that obviously don't know what Mark's congratulating me for. My baby boy came into the world on Wednesday morning at 2 a.m. So I'm a new daddy.
A new daddy. Just the baby's come along just in time for the season. It knew that the season was a fast approaching. The Brady verdict was done and dusted, so it's perfect timing.
No. He knows that he was due mid-October, but he knows that with the international series games, October's a busy time for me. So he decided that he'd pop in just before the season so that he could see the Jaguars wrap up the pre-season, and he thought he'd get in there just before we start the season.
Yeah, that's awesome. Plus, it's paternity leave, so you get to watch the kick-off and everything. And Monday night is a couple of games on as well. So,
well, this is it. Unfortunately, though, when you're an editor of a successful NFL and college football magazine, paternity leave is kind of a half and half system. Things still going on. Things still need to be done. So it's kind of taking a little bit of hand off the button, but not all, because you know how it is when you run these things. Yeah,
if sleepless nights are going to be good, because if a game's on, you'll be able to check in, so it won't all be that bad.
Well, this is it. I mean, in the morning, I've arranged that the missus is going to do a lot of the stuff through the night, she said, because I've got my work and stuff, and I said that I'll get him up in the morning for his morning feed, so I've already planned that we're going to get up in the morning, get a bit of NFL Network on, me and him sit and watch a bit of that to start the day, so the extra time, the extra early start's going to be beneficial in the end.
Yeah, and those tears and that, and the crying on a Mondays and Thursday night, straight to it,
This is it. All good.
Dear. Right then, less of the baby talk, and on to, you mentioned Huddle a couple of times there. We do know that you've dropped the latest edition there, so fill the listeners in on what they can expect from Huddle this time round.
Well, I mean, in this month's issue that has gone live on the website, it's kind of just a review of the off-season. We're looking back at the draft. We've gone and looked at some of the biggest draft busts of the last decade. It has to be said that we have left RG3 out of that because we're not too sure whether he is one of the biggest draft busts of the decade so far yet. So I'm sure in the chat room now it'll be all bursting with questions as to whether he is or isn't. But, you know, we've gone with some of the biggest draft busts of the last decade. We've had a look around all 32 teams as we do every month and just kind of looked at your draft class, rated a few players, told you perhaps lower down isn't that, who's going to be good, who's not. And I mean, you probably know for your own team, but the benefit of that is you get to look around every other team, see who's got what and where and who's got a little sleeper in there, and it just kind of gives you what people like about the Around 32, which is to get a nosy around everyone else's team without having to listen to their mate who's a fan of that team drone on about them for 3 hours. So,
that's a perfect way of putting it. Before we sort of move on, you've had a few congratulations come through in the chat room, so we've had some nice words in there if you want to check that out later.
Yeah, I'll probably go on there after we finish talking, but thanks to everyone who's listening who's sending in the congrats and that. It's been a very quiet week on our Twitter because I tend to handle the Twitter, so obviously I've been a busy boy and I've not managed to really tweet anything out as yet, but as I say, thanks very much for the congrats that are already coming through from folk. But back to the issue. I mean, we've got a look at the Atlanta Falcons in there from one of our new freelance writers, Dave. He's following them up because obviously they were at Wembley last year, so we thought we'd just do a bit of a follow-up on them now that they've had their change of regime there and see how they're getting on the kind of the things they need to do to stack up those win columns and perhaps get into the playoffs this season. Matt's back again with his usual stuff, a bit of college stuff. Not really in depth this month into the prospects for next year, but he's going to start almost immediately again in September. He'll be back onto the draft prospect. And we're just kind of taking it easy with this issue, not hitting any hard hitting facts, but with our season pass first issue coming out at the end of September, you get some more hard hitting stuff in that one. As I say, get over to the website huddlemagazine.com. You can purchase this month's issue, print or download, and then the season pass is on there as well, which is 6 copies, basically at the price of 5. That'll take you from September right through to the Super Bowl issue, and then followed up with your free issue, which will be the season review in February. So a great price for what we think is a great product.
Nice, good offer there. So huddlemagazine.com, season pass, 6 for the price of 5, and you said a free review, end of season review as well?
Yeah, basically the 6 issues cover from September's issue, which will be the next issue out, through to that February issue. So basically all you're paying for is September through to January, which is the Super Bowl issue, and then your season review is basically free. And we're going to be having a little prize draw for those that buy season passes. I'll be announcing more about that in the coming week once things calms down with the baby situation at home. So even if you buy a season pass before that's announced, you'll still be entered into that draw to win a prize. So it's all good.
Cool. I like the little tease there. Keep the people coming back for some more.
Well, this is it. They'll need to keep an eye on the Twitter. They'll need to keep an eye on our website and stuff. So they'll need to just keep an eye out and see what we're doing.
Cool. And of course, we're going to have you bringing us the last minute sort of up-to-date news in regards to injuries, rosters. And,
this is it.
We haven't actually scheduled a time yet, have we? Because we're going till 5. So we're going to be around about 10-15 minutes before the close of the show. So you'll be able to...
Yeah, hopefully it'll be the same as last season, where myself and you will try and cram in all the news in about 10 minutes. Hopefully signal permitting and all the usual stuff. But like last season, I don't know about you, but it worked well, and I think that'll be good. And hopefully maybe we can do another Wembley edition as well, which would be good. But plenty of stuff to be getting on with this season.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Let's move on to let's talk a little about your Jags. What are your sort of aspirations for this year? What do you see them doing? Because I know we've mentioned a few times now that they're going to have to steadily improve. And is this the year that Gus Bradley's under the pressure sort of mounting if he only wins 4 or 5 games this year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he can afford to finish with a losing record. He's got to finish with at least an 8-8 record.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're looking at it, it's now really his 3rd season. You know, there's not really much in the way of complaints that he can make with the team. I've got to say, he's unlucky in his draftees. I mean, his first-round drafts seem to love an injury or a suspension, which is unfortunate, but still, you've got a team there that needs to be improving, and I was hoping that they would improve last season and in fact regressed. So this is a key season for him. If he doesn't improve this season, then as much as I like the guy, you know, when I've spoke with him and I've seen him in press conferences, he's a great guy to speak to, but it's a results business and he's got to get the results. And if he doesn't, then he needs to make way, and we need to find someone else that can produce those results with these players. I think we've got a good crop this year. I don't read too much into pre-season because you're not playing the full competitive games, are you, in pre-season?
No.
But a 2-2 pre-season, and Bortles is looking good. I mean, his mechanics have improved. He looks as though he's more poised. If we can keep that O-line strong, we've made some good additions through free agency and in the draft to try and strengthen that O-line to protect him. If that's the case, not only will we be able to set up Bortles being able to pass the ball, but what's key to our game is the run game. Getting that run game set up and in play so that we can set up play action in the second half and stop struggling in the third quarters in the way that we have been, because that's where we tend to lose games, the third quarters. I was quite surprised how close some of them were last season in the fourth quarter, and if we can keep doing that kind of thing, I think an 8-8 record is achievable for us, and hopefully even beat the Bills at Wembley.
Yeah, that'd be nice for you. Beat Rex Ryan and his Bills, and whoever's in at quarterback at that stage, I would imagine.
Well, this is it. The merry-go-round at Buffalo will be an interesting one by that stage. I'm sure there'll probably be plenty of controversy to ask Rex about in the media week running up to it. So
yeah, he's definitely going to be.
We'll keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the must interviewees out of that week.
Yeah, I would have thought so. They're always good press conferences when they get over here, but I think by that stage, looking at the Bills as a whole, who knows what could be going on with their circus by that stage. So, I mean, where there was the whole Tannehill, will he play, won't he play, with Coach Philbin last season, I think Rex is going to vastly outdo that with the way he does things in Buffalo. So that could be an interesting week.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. Just touching back then on the Jags, any sort of surprise cuts? Have you been able to see the roster cut down since you've with Littlin being in?
No, I mean, unfortunately, my eyes been off the ball this week, so I've not really looked too much into the cuts yet. It's something that I'll be looking at in the next week. But I mean, in terms of the way the team was shaping up, I think the core of the team was there. I think releasing players like Red Bryant early was a good idea, and I've got faith in Gus that we're going to improve this season. I just hope that he improves enough to ensure that he gets to continue in the position that he's in and moving the team forward. And the only other thing with the Jags that's been going on this week is this continued talk about who's going to LA. So, I mean, from what I've looked at, I mean, being a Jags fan as well, but the opportunity that you get to speak to people, I just don't see it being Jacksonville moving to LA. It'd be absolute madness. And there's talk of the Jaguars moving to St. Louis and the Rams moving to LA and all sorts of crazy scenarios that see the Jags leave Jacksonville. But if you're looking for a team to move, it's not going to be the Jags. The deal that's been signed with the city of Jacksonville, it cost the NFL billions and billions of dollars to wrap up a franchise there and move on. So whether it's a franchise coming to Britain or going to LA, the Jaguars are not your franchise because they're just too tied into the city of Jacksonville.
Ah, interesting. So there's a lot of rumours, isn't there, in regards to LA and what's going to go on there. And let's just hope that the NFL get it right. I think you can only put one team there. Two teams would be a disaster. So fingers crossed you do get it right.
I think the sad thing is that you've got to look at, you look at teams like Jacksonville who, albeit they've not got the largest stadium in the NFL, but they do sell season tickets, regardless of having one game less per season than everyone else, they do sell season tickets. You look at teams like Oakland and St. Louis and they struggle to sell season tickets. You look at Buffalo and you've got their owner buying thousands of tickets a week to stop the blackout. Jacksonville's not been blacked out for, I think it's about 6 or 7 years. So you've got to look at that market and say that the NFL would be crazy if they moved a team from a market where the product's selling.
Yeah, it'd be madness. And like you say, you mentioned the Rams. There's a lot of sort of chatter in regards to the Rams. It's a very, very quiet stadium. The home fans are not as boisterous as the rest of the teams within the NFL. And it's more of a college town, isn't it, for St. Louis?
You've got to remember that St. Louis has lost a team already. Yeah. You know, they had the Cardinals in the first place and they couldn't keep hold of them. And so, I mean, and LA obviously has got that history with the Rams anyway, so it would make sense that if they didn't support the team that they lost, they then gained another team and they're not supporting that, then you really just can't keep flogging the same dead horse, can you? So they're a prime target to be a move of the Rams, and along with the Raiders. So, I mean, it's just a balancing act for the NFL to figure out who to move, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, all the talk of the Bills moving to Toronto, I think, you know, that's quite an interesting point that seems to have been forgotten. Now all the LA talk, and there seems to be that's gone off the boil, the Bills moving to Toronto. So that'll be interesting when that picks up, because the LA move kind of opens up all sorts of options, doesn't it, for different teams to do different things.
Yeah, you know, it's a copycat league, so once one team starts moving and finds a new market, you know what it's like. You see the dollar signs flash in their eyes, and before you know it, your team's packed up and gone. Yeah,
well, this is it. It's absolutely crazy. It will start off a trend, I think. I think we will probably see a couple of teams move around. And, I mean, I've talked at length in the magazine, I think it was last season or possibly the season before, where we talked about the options for moving, the options for expansion. And the talk of a two-team expansion just makes things more complicated again, because you put it up to 34 teams and it doesn't quite work out with the numbers in the divisions and the bye weeks and so forth. So the NFL, I don't think, are quite ready for an expansion because I don't think we're ready for a franchise. And I think if they're going to expand, they need to have a 4-team expansion as opposed to a 2-team expansion to try and even the divisions out more evenly. So it's exploring the other markets like Canada, like Mexico, like the Far East to see where the other options are. And because that development will take so long, the fact that LA's crying out for a team means that someone is just going to have to move. And I think in an ideal situation, they would have just expanded teams into the league to ensure that they didn't have to move a team around and keep that St. Louis market open. But I think that the options are just not there for expansion yet. So it's just a case of we're going to have to crack on with moving someone and get that market filled before it becomes the kind of Achilles heel of the NFL.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a few guys in the chat room as well saying like moving teams is what they find like uncomfortable about the NFL as a whole. It's just, I suppose it's just so alien to us, isn't it? Having a team move thousands of miles.
Hate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's everything British sports. Look at the Wimbledon MK Dons thing, even to this day.
Yeah.
The hatred that comes not only from Wimbledon fans, but from football fans around the whole of English football hate the MK Dons purely for the fact that they moved a team from Wimbledon to Milton Keynes. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like it's not in us, is it?
No, it's like the history sort of like is really having those grassroots from sort of a day one and being moved from here to there and everywhere. Yeah, it's not, it'd break your heart in fairness. And it's not like I know it was only 80-odd miles in relation to the MK Dons, but these are like thousands of miles, and St. Louis to LA is a
when you look at the some of the moves that have happened for teams, you just think it's incredible. And I know the talk is that people are saying that Florida have got too many teams in. I mean, Tampa, Miami, and Jacksonville, but the dense population in that area means that they can sustain those teams.
Yeah.
And you've just got to look at the other teams that are not supporting their clubs that they've got, whether that's through, ticket prices being too high, perhaps, whether that's through whatever reason. But, if they're not going to support the team, then these are the teams that the NFL are going to look to move, because there's no way a profitable team is going to look to move anywhere. It's just not going to happen. We all know it's a money business. That's why when it comes down to it, it's all about the money.
Yeah, and if memory serves me correct, I think I read somewhere that the Redskins have actually reduced their capacity going into this season by a couple of thousand as well.
Yeah, I can more believe that. But, I mean, would you want to watch the Redskins at the moment?
From a Jets comedy perspective, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I feel for the fans, in fairness. It's not their fault.
I mean, if you think you're on that Maryland border, are you going to go and watch the Redskins, or are you going to go and watch the Ravens? And I think most people are going to go and watch the Ravens, aren't they? Because, that's where, in America, it's all about winning, isn't it? And American fans want to see the team win, and if you've got that option to just travel a few extra miles down the road and watch the Baltimore Ravens play as opposed to watch the Redskins lose, unless you're a die-hard Redskins fan or whatever they're going to be called once they're made to change their name, then you're gonna go and watch the Ravens, aren't you? And that's where the problem lies, and I suppose that's where they're struggling to sell their tickets.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I forgot about the borders and all that. Yeah. All right, Tom, anything else we can do for today, mate? One last plug of the mag and anything? Anything else caught your attention? Or
There's nothing really that's caught my attention, other than obviously Tebow leaving the Eagles. I actually thought Tebow would probably make the roster and at least have a presence in the NFL, if not necessarily get much game time. So I'm a little bit disappointed that Tebow's not progressed into the NFL from his trial with the Eagles. He has worked hard over the summer. I mean, we were looking into a bit of the background of some of the stuff he's done over the summer in anticipation potentially of him coming back into the NFL, and he has done a lot of work to try and amend some of the elements of his game that he's been criticised for a lot. And I kind of hope that he sticks with it, because I think where Chip Kelly's come out and said that he's just not ready for the NFL at the moment, I think that's probably a true statement, and he just needs to crack on and keep with it. And I think potentially next season there could be someone who will pick him up, but that's kind of disappointing. But in terms of, as you said, plugging the magazine, just, as I say, over to huddlemagazine.com. That's where we live. That's where we're staying. And on Twitter, at Huddle Magazine. Once the season gets going, obviously every week we're in there. It kind of is me watching the Jaguars to begin with. but then as the games develop, I kind of have Red Zone on as well. So it's just general game day chat on Twitter, and we have got an iPhone app in development at the moment. Once we can get Apple to approve that, there'll be a chat room on that, and then we're going to really go for getting a proper chat going, similar to the chat room you run on Speaker. So hopefully then we can get a good fluid game chat going for game days on a Sunday.
Awesome. I shall look forward to it. Tom, it's a pleasure, as always, to talk to you and pass on congratulations throughout the Huddle household as well. And I shall look forward to the ensuing madness up until February.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Thanks for your time. And as I say, as always, to all the listeners, thanks for listening to me ramble on for the last 20 minutes. And I'll see you next week with the first pre-kickoff injury and latest updates news.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Take care. Get as much kip as you can, because it's going to be a wild ride.
Okie dokie, mate. Catch you later. Bye.
Catch you later, Tom. Appreciate the call, mate. Bye. And there we have it. Tom from Huddle Magazine, at Huddle Magazine on Twitter. HuddleMagazine.com is the website to go to. As Tom was saying there, 5 magazines for the price of 6 if you get the season pass. And please go over to HuddleMagazine.com and get that downloaded. Again, I think Tom said he might drop in the chat room, and to everyone that sent some nice words in regards to the latest addition to the Huddle household, that is very much appreciated. And quite a few people have echoed my sort of idea. And they've rolled with, Will says that when his little one was born a couple of years ago, during the Broncos-Ravens kickoff game, he did every night feed Monday, Thursday and Sunday. And Steve followed that up and said he did that exactly the same. So like-minded folks, that's what we advertise in the chat room. So again, we're going to sort of look towards wrapping this bad boy up in a moment. I'm going to drop in. We're going to do the Love Line feature in a moment. But beyond that, we are pretty much sort of done. Just an hour this week, folks. But next week, we go back to the format that we came to love throughout the season. So we're going to be bringing you we're going to have the hot route, hopefully. Going to have some plays of the week where you're going to be voting for what caught your eye over the course of the last 7 days. We're also going to be doing the news, obviously. We're going to have the fan versus fan, so I keep putting cries out for fan versus fan. If you want to be involved in that, hit me up, Zone Coverage FS on Twitter, or drop me an email, zonecoveragefootballshow@mail.com. If you're unaware what fan versus fan is, we basically get a couple of people on via Skype, and yes, Skype's been an issue today, but we'll try and figure that out. You get 90 seconds each to put forward your case why you think your team will win on that day. And as the listeners have said on more than one occasion, everyone likes listening to like-minded pigskin fans, their insight and the banter that goes back and forth. And obviously then we put that to the listeners, and the listeners decide who put forward the best case. So fan versus fan, we do have a few names down, so I'm going to try and figure out who we're going to get on in the first week. So we've got that to look forward to. Also, the Love Line we're going to be doing, I'm going to drop one of those in a moment as well. That's going to be rolling throughout the season as well. Also, I'm going to be doing some game previews as well. So we'll have some stats, some facts on the game as well. We're going to have the fantasy update. That's going to be coming via the guys at Dundee NFL. So if you're struggling for your fantasy lineup, who's hot, who's not, who to drop, and ideal matchups, we're going to have the guys on from at Dundee NFL. So we've got that coming up. We're also going to have the last minute news, as Tom mentioned there. So any sort of injuries, who's starting, who's not as well. So it's going to be fantastic. We're going to keep you bang up to date. So we're going to get rolling 3:30 till 5 o'clock every Sunday. We have the scope to roll till 5:30. So we might be doing 90 minutes, 2-hour shows. So there's going to be plenty going on over the course starting next week until good old February for the Super Bowl 50. So plenty to whet the appetite there, keep you guys going. And remember, if you want to call in, text in, we do still have a few issues here, there and everywhere. But the numbers, if you want to jot them down, 07444 048 266. Call and text. Skype, I don't know what's going on with Skype today. It's a bit of a pain in the rear end, but that's T-Smister, T-E-E-C-E. Missed it on a good old Skype. Cameron's just joined us in the chat room. Good afternoon, Cameron. Another one looking forward to tonight's draft. So, right, I'm just gonna let's revisit an old favourite. Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show Love Line. Oh, and there we have it, the good old Love Line music. I'd miss that. It just sounds really dodgy. It makes me cringe. Anyway, the Love Line, if you are, again, new to the show, what is the Love Line? It's not a dating service, first and foremost. So this is where we give the big guys on the O-line and on the D-line a bit of love. Because as we all know, these quarterbacks, these wide receivers, these corners, they get all the praise, all the headlines, all the money. But without a stout line on either side of the ball, we'd not know any of these studs, would we? We really wouldn't. So here on the Zone Coverage Football Show, I'd like to take the time out and just give a little bit of love to these guys, show how much we appreciate them. So with the kickoff coming on Thursday, I've decided to pick a guy from the Patriots and a guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So first up, I've decided to show some love. This is killing me, showing a Patriots fan, a Patriots player even, some love from a Jets fan. Things I have to do for this show. Anyway, first up, Patriots, Sebastian Vollmer, right tackle for the Pats, obviously, 6'8". He is 320 pounds. He was born in Germany, played his college ball for the University of Houston. He started out as a tight end, but went on to become a left tackle, started 25 consecutive games. He was then drafted by the Patriots in the second round of the 2009 draft, 58th overall. He made his debut for the Pats at right tackle for his rookie year. At left tackle during his rookie year. He then went on to start all 16 games the following year at right tackle. He's not really looked back. And you'll also remember, the majority of you would have watched the Super Bowl this year. He was a starter for the Patriots in that Super Bowl triumph against the Seahawks. Sorry to drag that up again, Cameron. But next up is the Pittsburgh Steelers, David DeCastro, right guard. He's listed as 6'5", 315 pounds. He was born in Kirkland, Washington. He played his college ball for Stanford. Actually caught, just to step away from the Love Line a moment, the first Stanford game on, I think it was BT Sports, ESPN, wherever it was last night. So that was good fun. Anyway, he played his college ball for Stanford. Obviously, I've just said that, you idiot. He played his first year. He didn't play during his first year, but then played all 13 games the following year, which was 2009. He was then a first-round pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2012. He was selected 24th overall. He's played 35 times for the Steelers. He's starting 34 games. So that is basically the snippet of the Love Line. If you want to give some love to one of the big lads on the line for your team, the team that you support and follow, hit me up at Zone Coverage FS if you want to provide the facts and save me some time because I am a lazy so-and-so. That'd be very, very much appreciated. So send them over via Twitter, Zone Coverage FS, email, zonecouragefootballshow@mail.com, and that would be that. That would be very much appreciated. That is pretty much it for today's show, folks. Tom's just dropped into the chat room there, so he's passing on a thank you to everyone that posted some kind words in regards to Baby Huddle. We need copyright that somewhere. Oh, John Cartwright, a late arrival. How are we going? We're just about to go, John. It's 3:30, not 4:30, buddy, but I appreciate you dropping in. Nice to see you. Right, that is it, folks. We are done and dusted. I just want to pass on a massive thank you from my end. I had the figures back for last month. Last month was the biggest ever month that Zone Coverage Football Show had in regards to downloads, listens, and live listens as well. And that's off the back of you guys retweeting the show, spreading the word about the chat room, and so on and so on. So I tip my hat to everyone that's partaken in the show, who's in the draft tonight, who comes in the chat room every week, who just basically anyone that interacts via Twitter, and to the guys like Tom and the guys over at Dundee NFL as well, who partake in the show as well, taking time out to give some extra insights. Very much appreciated. It's helped to create this giant snowball that is the show. So we are heading on an upward trajectory so we can keep spreading the word about the show. So thank you to all that do that and keep continuing doing it as well. Any sort of ratings, rankings, iTunes, Stitcher, all that. I'm going to beg and beg and beg every week if I have to get a few more. And they do help out, so it's very, very much appreciated. That is it for today's show. Again, we are back next Sunday. We would have all witnessed the season kickoff. We will be 90 minutes away from, we'd be pretty much 90 minutes away from the actual live Pigskin action. So I can't wait. The excitement is building. Next Sunday is going to be an epic show. Looking forward to chatting with you all next week. Again, everyone that's sort of joined in the chat room today, much appreciated. And remember, hustle, hit, and never quit, folks. See you next week. Today's show is brought to you by ZoneCoverageFootballShow.com. If you're missing the live shows, then fear not, as you'll find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and now YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us some feedback. And until next Sunday, hustle, hit, and never quit.